Study of New York sidewalks finds astonishing levels of E. coli and other harmful bacteria. That's quite concerning. What happened here and what did they find? We all know New York City streets are dirty, but how much of those germs are we carrying into our homes? A study by the New York chemistry professor suggests something we all should be doing before stepping in the front door. Shoes off, please. It's a dreaded phrase for many house guests, but it's exactly what Dr. Alessandra Larry says hosts should demand. The most novel thing about studies is that people that are tracking these things indoor on their shoe soles, said Larry, a professor at Marymount Manhattan College. Larry co-authored a study about contaminants on Manhattan sidewalks, specifically in standing water. It focused on the Upper East Side, where her lab and office are. We found astonishing levels of Coli, which are a fecal indicator of bacterium, said Larry. In translation, your shoes can be dangerous once you walk in your front door. 30,000 bacterial cells per 100 milliliters of water. The EPA has a benchmark that cities use to close benches at that benchmark, and it's 110 cells for 100 milliliters of water, said Larry. Dogs in the city are part of a growing problem on our streets and sidewalks. In their defense, dogs aren't an easy target to blame for the study, but the ideas that you may be conjuring up in your head weren't the types of messy sidewalks we examined. We looked for puddles where there's no evidence of feces or residue. So they appear to be on sidewalk surfaces that are not foul, said Larry. Some bacteria found on sidewalks can cause heart diseases. Unsurprisingly, E. coli was also found. That's very shocking. To see that some bacteria found on sidewalks can cause heart disease. So it's something to have a lot of concern for. It's not just maybe a common cold or a stomach disruption. As for solutions, cleaner streets would help. But the best way to avoid this is by starting a new habit if you haven't already. The easiest thing you can do to avoid tracking in your house is to remove your shoes at the doorway and leave them there. And in response to the study, the New York Department of Sanitation told at CBS 2 they remain dedicated to keeping the city clean, safe, healthy, and remind pet owners that the law requires them to pick up after their dogs or they will be ticketed. One interesting thing to see is that 30,000 bacterial cells per 100 milliliters of water is quite a feat, with the EPA saying that's a benchmark used to close the beaches, and a benchmark is 110 cells per milliliters of water. So there definitely seems to be a problem here with sanitation. Whether it's coming in through the home or it's getting into the water, it's a problem. Now, taking off your shoes is one way to prevent the spread of E. coli, at least in that manner. Another way is to make sure that's not in your water because you're drinking that every day. And the best way to do that is to have it periodically tested.